All these mysterious Walmart store closings are happening. But did you ever stop and just think about the real reason why they're all closing down? Millions upon millions of square feet of empty, vacant warehouse space ready to be used for potential or probable lockdown and quarantine camps or prisons, maybe. Now, I'm not saying that this is what they will do, but I know that you all know what they want to see happen to us next. So I have to ask you, will you allow it? Will you go peacefully? Will you comply? Because I'm sure that I'm not the only one, and we all know some folks out there who have already proven their weakness or allegiance to the government in the past, recently, and were ready, willing, and able to line up and do whatever it was that needed to be done in order to be protected and in order to keep their jobs or stay in their homes or get some form of government stimulus check payment, blood money from the government. And the consequences of these choices and their actions are long lasting, very apparent. We can see them, and they aren't good. All these people, weak, scared, and afraid, they prey on that and only reinforce more weakness and dependency. So when shit hits the fan again, they already know who will go willingly and who won't. And for all of us who will put up a fight and line up our sights and our crosshairs, well, they'll come for us first. They'll want to eliminate the threat, and then it's easy pickings for the rest. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another video. Good morning. Today it is very, very cold outside, and honestly what I wanted to do was bring you a video about personal safety and survival, but unfortunately I can't because, well, you see, this platform doesn't allow that type of stuff anymore. So I'll have to forego some of the visuals that I would use and instead stick to the context and the transcript. But let's just be honest, really. You don't want to let them know all of what you have anyway, right? But do me a favor. Please hit the like button if you agree and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Facts. Nearly half, that's 50%. Of the 30,000 cities in the United States will face some sort of population decline in the coming years. And this depopulation will hit some areas harder than others and will likely drive major disruptions to local amenities and economies. Ever since the turn of the century, populations have shifted across U.S. cities, driven by a variety of factors: housing, urbanization, home prices and rent prices climbing higher and higher and higher. Let me know. Drop a comment down below. Has your rent price gone up? Has your overall living expense seen an increase? Even if you have a fixed rate mortgage, have your property taxes gone up? Have your homeowner's insurance costs gone up? Have maintenance and repair costs gone up? Have HOA fees and other unexpected expenses gone up in relation to your home, your condo, your townhouse, your modular home, your mobile home, your trailer, whatever, wherever you live, whatever. Even if you are a RVer, van lifer, living in a car, the campgrounds, the campsites, the available areas to securely and safely and legally reside, those have all gone up in price. Not to mention the fuel costs, the car insurance costs, the RV insurance costs, everything is going up. Prices are climbing higher and higher and higher. And if you think you're going to try and get by with stealth camping and living off the land or using and utilizing BLM or the Bureau of Land Management, well, think again. You got another thing coming there. I'll save that for another video. If you guys are interested, by all means, feel free. Let me know in the comment section down below. However, this only further exacerbates the challenges of affording the daily cost of living, period. Climate change, legislation, new laws, immigration, they're all contributing factors to your city's changing population. And depending on where you live, You probably are seeing it in real time. Certain parts of Texas, certain parts of New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Chicago and Illinois, New York City and New York, these sanctuary cities, if you live in California, potentially San Francisco, you guys know what I'm talking about. And over the coming decades, this population shift is expected to continue across the U.S., and they are planning and preparing for new developments that start with the basics and something as simple as city planning and design. And if you are taking notice to the different signs that are going up for town hall meetings and rezoning applications and different tax exclusions or new imposed taxes or any dirt being moved or land development, or potentially even in places like Lahaina in Maui and Hawaii, where they have an state of emergency declaration, an executive order that allows them to push through anything they want without all the red tape, without all the opinions and voting from those who once lived in these areas that will be soon pushed out. Just take a look around you. It's happening right now, and you can see it. Buildings are being emptied out, and housing is becoming so out of reach that 90% of people are going to willingly walk into this trap and basically beg the government for their help, or else they will likely soon die, perish. Accordingly, researchers from the University of Chicago, Illinois, used U.S. Census data to predict how city populations are likely to change by the year 2100. They used mathematical models to factor in the impacts of different climate scenarios, like the record-breaking frost and winter storms that are ripping through heavily populated and densely packed areas like New York City and Chicago right now. There's even stories of the demise, the collapse, the fallout from EV owners. Some thought to be, possibly doing a good thing for the environment, but more so falling in line with the agenda that's being pushed out of Washington for this battery-powered country, this build back battery-powered country, and buying into this EV nightmare that is unsustainable and expensive, but also treacherous, because lines and lines and lines of cars dead on the side of the road, Teslas, Hyundai Ioniq 5s, Rivian R1Ts, you name it. Electric cars are dying because their batteries are less efficient in cold weather, much like the cold weather that we are experiencing, the brutal cold weather that we're experiencing right now. And many, many folks are finding out the hard way that perhaps maybe they probably shouldn't have complied and pushed back and continue to support the internal combustion engine, the gas-powered or diesel-powered engine that has built this country. And ironically, the diesel-powered engine in the truck, the tow truck, that will then come to the rescue of the EV that has reached 0% battery life. But I digress, because the team revealed that 43% of U.S. cities are at risk of experiencing depopulation by the year 2100, with higher levels seen in the North and Midwest compared to South and Western regions. So please, folks, pay attention and get ready to be prepared, because it's no secret about how the low-income cities are the first predicted to be more likely to see shrinking populations as compared to higher-income cities, and some cities such as Cincinnati, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh may also see significant depopulation too. I mean, it's already happening with all the killings and murders and deaths plaguing these cities. In Pittsburgh, the bar owner of Mogi's Irish Pub was shot to death, killed right outside of his own tavern. But if it isn't death by gunshot wounds, then it is homelessness. And with the temps dropping to sub-zero, frigid cold temperatures, they will have to wait until the bodies thaw out before they can identify them and tally up the total death toll that is rising right now. These are families at risk due to frozen pipe bursts and boiler issues, being left with no heat at the worst possible time. and it's only going to get worse. And there are parts of the country and these cities at high risk of depopulation currently experiencing temps so cold that it would actually be warmer to live in Siberia or Alaska instead of places like Chicago. Plus, hospitals are warning people they are at capacity and they don't have the resources to help save lives, while officials warn of a dangerous viral outbreak, and the risk of exposure is at an all-time high, record levels, now that passengers and travelers are spreading it through international airports. And meanwhile, the World Economic Forum, the WEF, just announced how they are creating a contingency plan for the next infectious virus outbreak. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is happening in real time. It's called Disease X, and the World Economic Forum attendees say they will discuss the hypothetical virus in order to prepare properly for it. But if it isn't one thing, then it's another. And the always looming threat of climate change continues to place millions of people at risk of being wiped out. And in cities like Pittsburgh, underground streams are now being talked about and how they pose challenges, and dozens of streams flow underneath Pittsburgh, but have begun creating a buzz and conversation about their links and ties to climate change. However, what's really shocking and alarming right now is how the WHO, or the World Health Organization, just launched an appeal for over $1 billion to, as they say, protect the health of the most vulnerable populations in 41 emergencies around the globe in 2024. They literally said 41 emergencies, like they already know what's going to happen. Sounds like it's all planned, right? But they say that the appeal covers the emergencies that demand the highest level of response from WHO, with the aim to reach over 87 million people. It's being issued in a context of complex emergencies cutting across crises of conflict, climate change, and economic instability, which continue to fuel displacement, hunger, and inequality. And the World Health Organization Director General said, for those facing emergencies, disruptions to essential health services often mean the difference between life and death. From mothers giving birth during conflict, to aid to young children in drought-affected regions, to those receiving cancer treatment or dialysis, healthcare saves lives. Healthcare services are also critical for breaking the cycle that too often leaves communities in a perilous state and reliant on yet more emergency assistance. End quote. But let's be honest here. Let's be real here, folks. These predictions have important implications for the stability of U.S. cities in the future. And while we already know just how bad a growing population can strain a city's resources, a shrinking one tends to be accompanied by smaller tax revenues and a lack of financial support for essential services and infrastructure maintenance. And this can make life more difficult for the populations who remain in these shrinking cities. So, time for us to get ready and prepared, people. All across the U.S., brace for population shifts and the inevitable as all these cities begin to experience depopulation. I hope this message finds you and is received well. Please stay safe, stay smart, stay connected, and most importantly, stay frosty.
I can tell you my problems, meditating my silence, but I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler. Now all the girls go follow. All the fake fans gon' pop.